tell us about the history of AI?
Yeah.
A rocket.
So, Chisinau, are you still here? No, no, no. I don't hear you. Are you still here? No. Once again, Chisinau, are you here? Woo! Good, good. Now I hear you. So, today we're going to have quite a challenging topic, and I have promised to talk about it in simple words. So, let me start with a story. This autumn, I decided to detox my body. You know, no sugar, no milk, and few other things my body doesn't like. Sounds easy, right? Well, last weekend, I decided to cook a beautiful Italian dinner. You know, pasta, olive oil, the whole vibe. But when I opened the fridge, guess what I found? No, it's not AI. Not yet. Beef and glass noodles. I thought this will never work. But then I asked AI for help. I asked my dear friend, ChatGPT, like, hey, make me please something good out of these ingredients, but also good for my detox. And you know, it gave me a recipe in seconds. I cooked it, and you know, it was really delicious. It was a Mediterranean dish with garlic and basil. And at that moment, I actually thought that AI didn't just give me a recipe, it changed how I solved the problem. And that's where we are today. AI is not something we use once in a while. It's a tool that helps us in every workflow and every process, at our work, at our homes, and as you already know, even at our dinner plates. So here's the big idea. AI is the new normal. It's not something extra anymore. And when I talk about AI today, I often think back to when I started my career. It was 10 years ago. 10 years. Time flies, crazy, right? So at that time, ChatGPT wasn't even an idea. And me, I was in the world of Excel. And Excel basically was everything. You could create reports with it. You used it for calculations, for storing data, basically for everything. Who remembers those times? Or maybe you still do this? Okay, I promised to myself that I'm not going to ask for a show of hands, but I'm sorry, guys. And when we talk about AI, it's important also to remember what was in the past. It was 2016, if I recall it right, when I worked for a huge wall decor company. And one day, my boss came and said, Anna, there's a new tool called Power BI. Who knows it? Power BI. Yeah, good. And he said that we need to try it. So I learned it, I played with it, and even won an innovation award for the reports I built. But Power BI didn't stop there. It grew really fast. And in one time, it actually became the #1 data visualization tool in the entire world. But this story isn't about the tool. It's actually about how the approach to data started to change. In the past, data was centralized. It lived in big storage systems called data warehouses. It's like huge libraries where only few people had the keys. And if you needed a report, you had to wait. And waiting was normal. If you have been part of sales, marketing, operations, or actually any other field, you probably remember this. Who remembers this? The waiting time. When you get, when you needed those numbers. Yeah, you needed numbers to make a decision, but the reports weren't ready yet. So you waited for hours, for days, or even for weeks, if not even for months. And I remember the Christmas season in that company. We were shifting cold deco products all over the world. And people were buying gifts for their loved ones. And we had to make sure that everything arrived on time. But imagine this. Your child is waiting for a special gift, but it doesn't arrive before Christmas. It arrives in January. And this is not just a delay, it's really a broken moment. So the speed mattered. And we couldn't survive anymore with one-lane roads. We needed more traffic, more lanes, and a smarter design. Back then, I remember it was 2018 when I joined Accenture Projects, and some of the biggest companies in the world were asking the same question. Should we move to cloud? At that time, it was still cloud. And one of them was a global car giant. And it was always known for innovation. But even that company was actually afraid to move to the cloud because it sounded risky. They were worried about security, about rules, about control. So back then, we had servers locked in the secret rooms. And to add some more capacity, you actually had to do a lot of things. It was really painful. For example, you needed to buy storage, to buy the physical servers. You had to wait for the delivery. You had to find space. You had to get it, to connect cables, to configure everything. And at the same time, you had to hope that nothing broke. And what is happening now? We're having the cloud. Now you just click a button. And if you need more storage, it's done in minutes. If you need more computing power, it's done in minutes. That's the difference the cloud brought. And how else it changed the world? It changed it by the new speed. What we could do in the past for months, now we can take in minutes. We could store more data, we could process it faster, and even we could create new reports and share with them, and not only with employees, but even with customers, partners, entire ecosystems. And the old systems, they couldn't keep this up. They had to be adjusted. They needed more flexibility. They needed to be faster. They needed to be ready for more innovation. And innovation came. AI, automation, real-time analytics. They all became possible because the foundations were ready. And what's happening in the present? The word cloud is not something extra anymore. It's the new norm. And the same is happening currently with AI. And we are moving to the next chapter. We don't have simply a big city anymore. We're having a city that is becoming smart. And what a smart city actually means, it means that it reacts in the moment. It responds to traffic lights based on sensors, not based on a fixed time. It adds a new lane when it sees that the crowd came. The street lights are turned on when someone walks by. That's the smart city, and that's a smarter design. And when we talk about the future, what do you think? What do we need to take into account when talking about the future? Remember that case that I told you about the dinner cooking? It was a simple thing that I did in my daily life. But this one actually has changed tremendously. Because nowadays, AI helps us not only at work, but in our everyday processes as well. And this is something that our thinking should adapt as well. Not only architecture, not only the systems, but our brains as well. So we have to make sure that AI is actually being perceived as something normal, as an opportunity for everyday processes. And we have to stop asking, should we use AI? We have to start asking, how will AI help? And when that shift happens, you start designing systems that are flexible, fast, and ready for AI agents to work with the people. And why is this so critical? It's because the amount of data, the amount of the processes, the amount of even of the users, including the AI agents, everything grows. And to be honest, it's going to be growing. And we have to make sure that our brain adapts to it as well. Have you heard about neural paths? Who knows what is a neural path? Anyone? Yeah, we have these people, great. So what is a neural path? So basically, when you want to make a habit, you have to repeat the same thing until your brain chooses the new path. And I'm gonna challenge you now. So now, everyone, please think about 5 processes that you're doing daily or every week. 5 things. It can be anything, starting from creating social media posts to creating the reports, or maybe even ordering groceries. So what you have to do with that, out of these 5 things, you have to pick one that brings you the most value. In my case, as you know, I'm on detox this autumn, so for me the grocery shopping is super important right now. And yeah, I hate doing that. I hate creating lists of the products and filling the online basket. But if I create an AI agent that does that for me, then my life would become way simpler. And the question is how? How to do that? We have 4 simple rules. Number 1, and please note, this one is the most important one. So number 1, value. You never automate anything if it doesn't bring you value. And value can be direct, like saving money or getting more money, or indirect. For example, improving your mood, removing stress, saving time. Number 2, documentation. For this one, you have to create an up-to-date list, up-to-date documentation, because AI agents have to know the information about you. Number 3, customization. You have to make sure that you personalize this. Don't make it just robotic. Make it to work for you, for each of you. And number 4, timing. Of course, the agent needs to know when this has to happen. In my case, it would be every week. And these rules can be applied not only to grocery shopping, not only to social media posts, but to your any daily life processes or work. So you have to start small, pick one process, automate it by using the 4 rules that we have discussed. And now let's do a quick recap. What the past has taught us, it's that data powers decisions. The present tells us that speed and scale matter the most. And the future, it tells us one thing, that intelligence must become part of our habits. So please take away this simple but highly important message of today, that AI is the new normal. And if you don't make it as part of your habits, either of work or home, then you are going to be simply keeping it as an extra box to the diagram of your architecture, which is definitely not the way how to work with AI. Remember the 4 rules that we have discussed. Always start with value. Always add documentation. Please always personalize it. And 4th, ensure that the timing works for you. Please stop asking, should we use AI? And start asking, how will AI help us? So again, start small. Pick one task, automate it, and use the 4 rules that we have discussed. And in this way, you are going to be part of those businesses and people who are not going to be just automating the things, but they are going to be succeeding, because intelligence must become part of our habits. Thank you so much.